As well as the standard fair use policy, these videos are protected under the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1787.
Moors are awake. We are taking our place on this planet.
No! Don't break my window! Don't break my window! Do not break my automobile! Oh, damn it! Damn it!
Harrison Lemon the third. Good morning to you, son. I think he represents himself. Harrison Lemon the third. Can you unmute yourself, please?
I believe he's sovereign.
I think so too. Harrison Lemon the third. And good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Your Honor. Harrison Lemon Bey here on behalf of Harrison Lemon III.
Okay. All right. So let's call the case. We had an issue with summons and a jury. Where's the trooper?
You know what, Judge, unfortunately, I told him it was up tomorrow. I don't know what I was thinking. I said, we have a jury trial Friday.
It was up tomorrow.
Oh.
But this was the final pretrial to see if it was going to work itself out, but it's not, I'm sure.
Oh, because he just called me and asked me if he needed to appear, and I said, no, I can call him right back if you...
He's in here.
Well, just,
Let's call the case.
Which guy is here? Okay.
Let's call the case. Let's put
Thank
this
you,
all
Judge.
on the record.
I'm sorry, I'm
The city of
confused.
Detroit versus, strike that, this is the state of Michigan versus Harrison Lemon Bey the third. Case number SX 4195968, counts 1, 2, and 3. Appearance for the record, please.
Paula Cole on behalf of the people.
All right, Trooper Shields, can you put your appearance on the record for me, please?
It's Trooper Butchkaya who's on Lemons, and he's the one who called me, and I told him he didn't have to zoom in because it's up
Okay,
tomorrow.
very well. Okay, very well. Mr. Harrison Lemon Bey the third, can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Harrison Lemon Bey, spelled all lowercase, HARRISON space LE space MON space BEY. That is Harrison Lemon Bey. I am the surety on behalf of the principal debtor, Harrison Lemon III, spelled with all capital letters.
You are the surety on behalf of the debtor. What in the doohickey are you talking about? Your opening statements is already on some goofy stuff. You really think that this type of rhetoric is going to help you? If that is what you think, you are out of your mind. And when you're spelling your name, there is no need to say space this, space that. Like, what is wrong with these people? These people are lunatics.
For the record, Your Honor, I'm not familiar with the Harrison Lemon Bey III.
It sounds like you're very familiar with them. You spelled it out. You said I'm Harrison Lemon Bey the third, or Harrison Lemon Bey on behalf of that and the surety of that. I mean, you sound like you're very familiar with them.
If you're not familiar with them, then how in the doohickey are you the surety on behalf of the debtor? What the hell are you talking about?
Your Honor.
Sound like, and maybe I would guess that your mom probably named you Harrison Lemon Bey when you were born.
Your Honor, the name Harrison Lemon Bey III is a name that I am completely unfamiliar with. If this matter today is related to a name that is Harrison Lemon Bey III, I'm not authorized to speak on that name. I'm not trying to bring any type of controversy to the court or anything like that. I'm just simply here to be able to settle this matter and settle the charges and bring this matter to a close. That's it.
All right. Well, we can bring the matter to a close by taking an offer. We can give you an offer, Ms. APA Cole. You want to give Mr. I don't know how you want to be referred to, but Mr. Harrison Lemon Bey III, an offer. You want to take that offer, we can satisfy it like that, or we can satisfy it like we had set for a jury trial. And the note that we received this morning was that from nobody's fault here, the court did not summons a jury for some reason or another. That's why we're not going to have that trial tomorrow. So we can schedule it for another jury trial if that's what you want, Mr. Without knowing how you want to be referred to, Harrison Lemon Bey III.
Your Honor, again, just to be clear, Harrison Lemon Bey, here on behalf of the principal debtor, Harrison Lemon III.
Excuse me, sir, but none of your word salad is going to make a difference. You are the person that is supposed to be appearing in court today. You are the person that is being charged with whatever you're being charged with. So stop it with the nonsense, please.
Okay, so Harrison Lemon Bey, what would you like to do?
Your Honor, I'd give the court notice. I'd really, I'm just looking for a plea of release today. Will you grant a plea of release?
No, I'll deny that. Okay. So how else you want to proceed? I gave you the two options: taking a plea or going to jury trial.
Do you disclaim the trust?
I don't know what that is.
My name is granted to the court for future return with my interest. I gave the court notice, and I'm here again simply just to be able to settle these charges and bring this matter to a close.
Okay. And I gave you the two ways you.
Pardon, self. I'm not looking to overspeak you either. So.
No, I'm sorry. I gave you the two ways that you can settle it. You can settle it by taking a plea, or you can settle it by going to jury trial. I'm assuming that you want another jury trial because you said that the first time. But you got the option of Ms. APA Cole giving you an offer of taking a plea.
Just for the record, Your Honor, this is Paula Cole on behalf of the people. It's my understanding it's just two charges today: no operator's license and no insurance. And there was a violation of basic speed law, but that was an informal hearing. I just want to make sure I have the charges correct so that Mr. Bey is aware. And certainly I would be willing to work out an offer with him if he is interested.
Yeah, 16 to 20 in a construction zone.
Is that an informal hearing, or is that up today as well with the other two?
Well, if it's in default, I don't see any reason to set it aside because it's just you know, we're you know, it just befuddles me how the sovereign people come in and they say that the court has no jurisdiction over them. And I guess you can make that argument, but the simple thing I ask in these cases is how, if the speed limit is 25 miles per hour, can you just go 50? And nobody can say anything to you, and nobody can stop you, and nobody can pull you over? If you run over a child, nobody can do anything to you because you're sovereign? I don't know. I don't understand that.
Your Honor, I keep hearing well, two things. One, I heard pardon pardon me again, I did not, I missed the name, or I don't want to mispronounce the name of
APA Cole.
ADA Cole. I heard her make mention of an insurance matter. This is the first that I've heard of.
No, it's not insurance. I think she misspoke on the insurance. It is a no ops, no operator's license, so no driver's license. It is a speeding ticket, 16 to 20 over in a construction zone. It says you were doing, the allegation says that you were doing 55 in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. And then it's no plate, no expired plate.
Oh, I apologize. I apologize.
So
that's corrected is corrected. All right, go ahead.
For the record, I did not violate the sole intent and spirit of the law. Nobody was injured and no property was damaged.
It doesn't matter that nobody was injured or that there was no property damage. The posted speed limits are to prevent potential accidents from happening. So if your sovereign behind is driving around 55 into 25, you broke the law. There was no injured party, quote unquote, today, but that doesn't mean there won't be an injured party tomorrow if you continue to speed where you're not supposed to be speeding. It is that simple.
Your Honor.
I understand that, but they didn't say any property was damaged. They didn't say that was the allegation. They said the allegation was that you were speeding 16 to 25 in a 16 to 20 in a construction zone, and they have you. It seems like they used the device to track your speed 55 to 35 in a 35. So it is laser. It's laser. So it's one thing if you suggest that wasn't me, they got the wrong car, or I wasn't there. It's other thing to suggest that the device is miscalculated and it wasn't working properly. I don't know what else is other defense that you could raise, but those are just two off the top of my head. And then, but other than that, I mean, other than outside of any other defense, do you say that you can just go 55 to 35 mile an hour zone?
Your Honor, again, my name is granted to the court for future return with my interest. Now, I hear you make mention of sovereign. I heard you make mention of that term. Sovereign.
You may not be claiming sovereign. I don't know. That's just what I hear most of the time when I hear these arguments.
Your Honor, I'm a friend of the United States, not neutral, not anti-government. I physically reside, not statutorily, in the Union State in a non-military occupied area without the territorial jurisdiction and without the District of Columbia. I don't have a personal military. So I depend on the United States for protection and security found in Article 4, Section 4, making me subject to those protections. I spend a lot of time learning on how to comply with the law of both my creator and my government, not defiling and opposing those laws.
So you depend on, let me stop you right there. You depend on the government for protection, right? Did you just say that?
That is correct. I did just say
that. Okay, so you depend on the government for protection. So the government is saying they're protecting other people because Mr. Golson depends on the government for protection. APA Cole depends on the government for protection. Attorney Harris depends on the government for protection. They want to be safe and they want their kids and their families to be safe. So when they cross the street, people are abiding by the speed limits and the laws of the government.
Excellent point.
And I'm not suggesting that these allegations are true, but let's just say for the sake of this argument right here that they are true, that you were born 55 and a 35, right? How are you able to do that and not have and suffer any repercussions and nobody else can?
Your Honor, I can't speak to that fact.
Okay.
Again,
so what do you want to do?
I am simply here because I am looking to settle this matter as easily and as amicably as possible. There was a charge that was brought against a name that is in trust, and these proceedings are damaging rights to possession, title, and interest in a private trust that only Inherent Equity has the sole exclusive jurisdiction to recognize.
Islam, brother. This fool just got so deep, he just threw in an Islam, like he's preaching.
So if this is not a special court equity and it does not have jurisdiction over non-statutory trust here today, and I know the parties of the trust, and none of the parties of the trust are here today. That's why I came in today, looking for a plea of release and to settle this matter in good faith.
Hey, look, hey, I'll tell you what. I might not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I'm probably that went way over me right there, Mr. Bey.
Don't worry, Your Honor, because you're not alone in that. That went over my head as well, and I'm sure it went over everyone else's head that's on this Zoom call. But this brother just freestyled that, and he doesn't even know what the hell he just said.
Let me ask you this: you submitted this as an exhibit, sir? Did you submit these as exhibits? Is this your this license plate picture here?
I can't see what that.
This is it's labeled Exhibit C, page 1 of 1. It's got a Nissan car with the US dot 3940755 on there. Foreign, national, non-commercial, the Moorish Empire. Is that your plate?
Your Honor, I'll answer that question for him because he'll probably just try to wiggle his way out of it. Yes, that's his plate. That is the garbage that these Moorish sovereign citizens purchase on the internet and then proceed in real life to put on their vehicles and they drive around with. This is the reason they don't have registration and insurance, because they drive around with their own fictitious internet purchased Moorish plates.
Your Honor, that is the plate that is attached to the conveyance. Yes.
Okay, that's your plate, right?
Yes, that is.
Okay, where did you get this? Where did you get this plate from?
Your Honor, the car has attached to it a Department of Travel number.
I asked you, where did you get this plate from, sir? I didn't ask you about the car. Where did you get the plate from?
That's a private matter, Your Honor.
You submitted it as an exhibit.
I did submit the plate as an exhibit, Your Honor. I absolutely submitted that plate as an exhibit because it does speak to the fact that there was.
Okay, so on your exhibit, I'm going to find you. I'm going to find you responsible for the registered plate. I'm going to fine you $145 for that. So that matter's over with.
Look at that fool. Your own stupid evidence worked against you.
Now we're dealing with the no ops and the speeding ticket. Now, I'm going to give you an opportunity to set a jury trial, or I'm going to give you an opportunity to take a plea on those two other matters.
Your Honor, so what you're saying is that there are now specific charges attached to each of the claims that were brought against the name Harrison Lemon III. Is that correct?
Yes, that's all I understand.
So upon tendering payment, I've given the court notice of subrogation and substitution. So upon tendering payment, those rights will be honored, correct?
I don't know.
Those rights be honored?
Upon tendering payment for the $145, then that'll cancel out the no registration. Upon tendering payment of $170, that'll cancel out the speeding ticket. And the other matter will have to be adjudicated. Because the one misdemeanor will have to be adjudicated, And the 2 civil infractions you can just pay and then close them out like that. And I'm gonna find you responsible based on your exhibit for the expired plate.
Your Honor, I did not see
Your
any
Honor.
visit of an expired plate. Your Honor, I was issued a ticket for an expired plate with the plate number EJL. The name was issued a ticket for the expired plate number EJL 7110. Is that correct?
I guess so. Go ahead, Counsel. I don't think he wants any representation.
I'm sure that he probably doesn't, but you're suggesting that he would have to pay a speeding ticket, and it sounds like that would be points. I don't want points associated with that. That would be bad.
He doesn't want. Do you want Ms. Harris to represent you, Mr. Bey?
Your Honor, I'm not looking for any representation.
Mr.
All right,
Bey,
so-
how about this? Can we have a discussion in the breakout room? I don't have to represent you, but I just want to give you a little bit of assistance. Can I give you some assistance? Are you okay with that?
And Attorney Harris, you know, that is in default, the speeding violation, and I would object to setting it aside at this point.
It's on the docket for today.
Your Honor, I hate to insert myself into this case. It is not my business. But if this person in front of us is not Harrison Lemon III, we just need to capious Mr. Harrison and move on. This gentleman is not an attorney, unless I'm sadly mistaken. He cannot represent anyone, including a name he's now made up for himself. He can only represent himself.
Put your appearance on the record, Counselor.
Alexis Schneider for the people, P80322.
Thank you.
All right. That sounds like a fair motion.
Shots fired. This sovereign citizen seems like he's about to be in a world of trouble.
And that's viable, but we're also getting into the dangerous territory of unauthorized practice of law. And I don't want him to pick up charges for that or any penalty for that. Mr. Bey, can I talk to you in a breakout room, please?
I'm willing to
Mr.
have
Bey?
a conversation.
All right, very good. That's very good. I'm going to put you in a breakout, a private room with Ms. Harris. All right, now we got to move on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, let's go back on the record with it's I just don't mean any disrespect, but I just don't know how to address you. But I'll say Mr. Harrison Lemon Bey III. All right.
Go ahead, sir. So his name is, what is your name, sir?
Your Honor, my name is Harrison Lemon III. I prefer for it to be spelled capital H, lowercase a, R, R, I, S, O, N. And then Lemon to be spelled capital L, lowercase e, space, capital M, lowercase O, N. And that is the third.
Very well. Mr. Lemon III, how do you want to proceed on the speeding ticket and on the no ops ticket?
Your Honor, I'm looking to settle all of these charges today. I do not want to go to trial. I'm not, again, I've said this several times. I'm not looking to create any controversy. I'm just looking to settle this matter as quickly and as amicably as possible and good.
All right, I don't think that you're willing. I don't say that you're you don't want to be amicable about it. I mean that you're any way disrespectful. You haven't been ever disrespectful. You were in your last time and very respectful. So you just have to either take the offer and plead to it. But the problem is it doesn't seem like you're going to want to plead to it and make an actual basis about it.
You're absolutely correct, Your Honor. And the reason being that he won't want to plead to it is because Moorish science has corrupted his brain.
What is the offer, Your Honor?
Let's get APA Cole back in here and see what she's going to offer you. All right, let's go back on the record with Mr. Lemon Bey III. Now, APA Cole, Mr. Bey wants an offer to resolve the matter. What would his offer be? And we'll just one offer for all three.
I did, Attorney Harris did email me recently. It was expired plates, isn't that correct?
It's
My only
expired plates, speeding, in 16 to 20 in a construction zone, and a no ops ticket.
I would want him to be responsible on the speeding. And I would do a fail to display. And dismiss the expired plates. But he would have to plead on the nose to the speeding, because that's in a construction zone, which is very dangerous.
Listen, I'm not going to, I respect your offer, Ms. Cole. Typically, if it's 3 tickets, it's one for 3. I mean, I just have to be, I just want to be fair across the board to everybody.
You know, I understand, Judge. It's just that if the trooper, they get such a hard time from Mr. Bey. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to call him Mr. Bey, that he was very upset about this case. And I'm just concerned that if he going to get stopped again and still have these same excuses that he's above the laws, the traffic laws, and he doesn't require.
Well, I mean, and I'm concerned about it too. And I'm concerned about it to the point where I you know, Mr. Bey, you know, I don't agree with your position in society, but everybody makes their own choices and things like that. So I'm not going to pass any judgment on that, right? But I do have a problem, like I asked you earlier, as far as you not feeling it's what I get, and I am taking the arguments that I've heard from previous people that take your position, that the police officer has no right to pull you over. And I understand your position by saying that nobody was injured or nobody was hurt, but I do have an issue with people saying that they can go 16, and especially that excessive speed in construction zones and things like that, and for them not to, the officer not to have any jurisdiction over them. I just ask everybody that takes that position, how else is there going to be order? How else is there going to be, what's going to stop Mr. Lindsay from going 16 to 20 over? What's going to stop Trooper Shields from going 16 to 20 over, or me for 16 to 20 over, if nobody has any jurisdiction over? So I understand APA Cole's apprehension. You're muted, sir.
I hear what you all are saying, and I'll continue to say I'm not attempting to bring any controversy in my times on the road. For example, on this instance, and the time that we are encountering, or the time that we are discussing now. The construction zone was that is an area that I travel often enough, and the construction zone was brand new. The speed limit there is actually 50 when it's not a construction zone. I was unaware. It was not an intention. I'm not. When I say I wasn't intending to do harm, and I was intending to fulfill the spirit and soul of the law, there's no. I wasn't. I literally am only attempting to live peacefully and be in line with with my God, and that means having peace amongst and harmony amongst all of you and anybody else that I encounter. That's why I keep pointing out, hey, I'm not attempting to bring any controversy or anything like that.
Well, this is an adversarial proceeding at its nature, period. If somebody says you did something, you may say you didn't. And now you kind of give me better clarity on what was going on. And I think that does make a difference when you make that statement. Like, hey, I'm not contesting that I was going this fast necessarily, but I didn't know that the construction zone was in place. So it kind of, because what I'm looking at it as, and I'm sure APA Cole is looking at it as, this is 35 mile an hour zone. And if you say you didn't know, but also APA Cole is looking at it as what she mentioned is that, are we going to continue to be back here? I mean, obviously for this plate, if you still have this kind of plate on your car, probably so. But that's a different nature than the speeding ticket where somebody can get injured or killed or hurt, seriously hurt or something like that.
Understood. I have children. I don't want to hurt anybody either.
We can work with the speeding, Your Honor, but I'm just, like I said, the troopers have, it's so much flack when they pull someone over and like, do you have a license? Well, I don't have to have it because the debtors and I just don't want, it'll be continued and we'll be back here. And
Exactly. If you cut this Moorish sovereign citizen a break, he is going to think he won and he is going to continue doing these things. Do not cut this Moorish fool a break.
Well, I'm sure that we'll put it this way. I have no doubt that Mr. Bey is going to continue to take that position.